Good morning, everyone. It's me, Kay. My face, to quote Andrea. Welcome to my little corner of the internet. It's been a while. Let's get caught up. Hi, everyone. This is Kay, and this is my cave of possibilities. I've got knitting to the right, cross-stitch to the left, and here I am, stuck in the middle with you. It's been a while, since I think last February. Nothing happened. I just got sidetracked. Things got busy, and as everybody knows who's ever stopped, once you stop, it's hard to get going again, so the best answer is to not stop in the first place. Today is Monday, January 15th, and it is cold out there, but very bright. So I've got excellent light coming in through my north windows today. I hope everything that I have to show you will show very, very well. I've got a few cross-stitch things to show. I've got some knitting to show, more knitting than cross-stitch, as has been the case lately. And then we'll just do a little bit of catch-up of where I've been and what I've been up to, which really hasn't been much. Let's start with the biggest pile, which is knitting. In 2023, I finished seven items, and then I have a handful, just 3 items on the go. You might hear Dear Princess meowing in the background. She has opinions, and she is definitely going to tell us all about them. The first item that I have written down, these aren't in any particular order, is my Ravenwood hat. This is a fantastic pattern. It is by Katie Carroll, Katinka Designs on Ravelry, and it just has a really simple 1/2. It's almost a cable. Not quite, but easy enough to do with the same skills that you would do for a cable. The yarn I used is Cultured Pearl, and it is a Miss Babs Yowza. Hey, Princess, no. No, no, no. No, no. Yeah, I know. You want to be in the middle of everything. You can't be in the middle of everything. Yeah. Where was I? This wonderful hat, Katinka Designs. It is called the Riverwood hat. I have notes because I have to look down and look at what I'm reading. Otherwise, it's not in there. Anyway, the yarn is from Miss Babs. It is her Yowza base, which is a DK. It is 100% superwash. And it comes in very large skeins, like 500 and some odd yarns per skein. So I have a good chunk left over of this, and I'm looking for a nice cowl project or something that, so I could have a set between, you know, the hat and a nice cowl. I've been thinking of mitts, but I have a really nice pair of leather gloves that I wear, so probably not gloves. So that is my first completed object of 2023. The second completed object of 2023 that I have is the Desert Sunset Shawl, and this is a pattern by Casapinka. It used 4 colors, and here we go. It kind of stripes them together. This has been washed and blocked, but it doesn't look like I've trimmed all the edges that have been woven in. So it's really quite fun. Start up here with a very light color and then just move down through striping them together. Lots of stockinette to start, but then you get into the pattern sections. These are fun. My first colors, I wrote them down. Let's see. This is, like never before, is our really light green teal. And then the next one, this solid, is Hosta. No, blue Hosta. And then we kind of move down here. We drop the teal and we pick up this variegated purple, which is one of my favorite purples. It's called Purple Joy. And I have a lot of it in stash because I love it so much. I mean, if you love something so much, why wouldn't you have 100 bajillion different skeins of it in stash? If she ever stops making it, I will be very sad. Anyway, so then we drop out the blue Hosta, and then in the very end I picked up this solid purple, which is called Swing. And there are several rows of a beautiful, this is a faux cable. You're not actually twisting the stitches across each other. It's a nice faux cable. There were 100 million rows of this, and I worked most of the lace on an Alaska cruise that I went in with my best friend and my sister. When it was sea days, we found a nice place to park ourselves where we could see the beautiful world go by, beautiful Alaska landscape, and then just knit and knit and knit and enjoyed the scenery for the most part. So this is, and then it ends off with a little fat ribbon. And so this is the Desert Sunset Shawl by Casapinka, and I knit it in Yummy 2-ply, which is a 100% superwash merino, also by Miss Babs. The third item that I finished is the Who Ya Gonna Shawl, which was a mystery shawl. I think I was working on it the last time I recorded a video, and if I recall correctly, I had started it out on the required needle size and then found that my tension was really quite tight, so I pulled it all out and restarted the project. And so I've actually managed to finish it. This is Who Ya Gonna Shawl, is a pattern by Mary Annarella, or Lyrical Knits on Ravelry, and she runs a mystery knit every year. It's often very punny, often related to pop culture, and so this one is Ghostbusters theme with Who Ya Gonna Shawl. Of course it is. I have no idea which end I started knitting on and which end I didn't, since it's two very interesting pieces put together. Anyway, we'll start at this end and show it off. And we knit and knit and knit, and there were so many fun little patterns and different ideas to do. And then here's this section here in the middle where you can see it runs from top to bottom, and this is where the two halves were joined in. Go a little bit more, a little bit more, and all the way down here to the end. Let's see, I used Miss Babs 100% Superwash merino with this one, and my darkest color is Blackbrid. It's almost black, but it has just a little bit of a blue undertone to it, and I get them all mixed up. I think the pink is Hoopla, and the not so pink is Hype, and then the purple, where's a full purple section, and then the purple down here is Playlet. It might be reversed. I don't remember off of the top of my head, but this was a fun shawl to knit. The only thing I'm sad about is it's a little too short for me to wear. In the winter, I like to wrap it around my neck, scarf-like, so that I have lots of bulk and warmth up around my neck when I'm going between here and the car and my car and work or groceries or wherever I'm going. So it's a little bit short for me to wear, but it was an excellent knit. Wood 1010 wood knit again. So that is my Who Ya Gonna Shawl. The next item I have listed as finished in 2023 is the Habitation throw by Helen Stewart, and a lot of knitters have knit this throw. It is a blanket that is on the bias. Actually, it's about a throw. You could make it blanket sized. I did not. Is that the right side? That's the right side. Anyway, so you start in a corner and you expand out all the way until, for me, this white bit is the middle bit, and then you start decreasing all all the way back down here to that bit, to the yellow corner. This was such an easy knit, hardly any thinking involved. And once you got a hold of the pattern, it was easy to just almost automatically do. I did make a schedule for this so I could check off my rows as I went along, just to make sure that my row counts were correct. Anyway, it was so easy to do that I took it to church, and it was my back of the room church knitting for quite a while. And it's just kind of soothing to listen to the words of God and knit away, listen to our lessons, and it's just lovely to sit in church and knit something easy and soothing and listen and listen. The yarn used was dyed by Livi Dyes Yarns, Savannah, here on YouTube. It was her Woodland Creatures Countdown box from 2021. She has since retired from the yarn dyeing business, but this box was really pretty, lots of beautiful colors, and she always had a good, a good saturation of color and some good, what am I trying to say? She has a good eye for color, good saturation of color, a steady hand when it comes to the dye process, and I really enjoyed this. Even though there's not a lot of purples in it, since, they're not my favorite colors, but that doesn't make the yarn any less beautiful than what it is. I mean, look how wonderful the speckling is just here in the this tan row. It is a superwash merino. It is an 80-20 mix, so 80% superwash, 20% nylon. Just a very, very beautiful a yarn to work with. So that is the Habitation throw. Moving right along, the next item that I finished was another shawl. And this is the Beach Nights shawl by Lisa K. Ross. Let's wait. Which way does this go? This is a kite-shaped shawl where you start in this corner and you increase a ways along that spine, and then right there is where we start decreasing on both sides, and it comes back down. Well, you still end up binding off like 100 bajillion stitches, but comes out really nice. This had a really fun lace. The lace is the same here in the purple as it is in the greens, and then she has these little she called them conch shells. They look more like cowries to me. But those were not difficult to do. You just had to count, but that's the truth in most knitting. You just have to count. I went with a, what do I want to say? Like an Aurora Borealis theme, with the nice dark purples, dark skies, and then the really pretty greens for the Borealis. So this is a wonderful shawl. It is huge. I like it. I suppose I wouldn't be knitting it if I didn't like it. Great pattern. Easy to do, easy to follow. I guess that's it. I'm saying a lot. I apologize. But yeah. Yep, another one. Would highly recommend. Do not be afraid of Lisa K. Ross's patterns. Oh, I should tell you about the yarn. It is a Yummy 2-ply by Miss Babs. The 100% superwash. The color for the purple was Mambo Madness. And then I pulled the greens from 2 different grab bags that I had. And the greens are... I don't know what the greens are. Did I write them down? I sure did. They are Picnic, Play Outside, Parallax, Sink or Swim, Blackwatch, I know is this dark one, so we've gone from light to dark. Blackwatch, and then Suspense. And it is wash blocked. My ends are sewn in. I just need to go back through and trim off all the ends because, well, I've been wearing her with long ends, but I should trim them up as she's ready to go. The next shawl that I have, and the last finished object that is still in my possession, was Sharon on the Trail, which is the annual mystery knit along from Casapinka. I knit this in Miss Babs, as I tend to have a habit of doing. 100% yummy 2-ply superwash, and so it's got this little tweaked end up here with some striping, and you go down a ways, and then here we picked up this, I think this section right here with the 1, 2, 3, 4 stripes was the first section we knit, and then we picked up on either end of that and knit out from there with the usual wonderful Casapinka assortment of patterns and stitches and ideas and striping, and it's just a lot of fun. And then we picked up more, then this was picked up across the top, and we knit back and forth, and then we picked up along here before coming back down into this little twisty tail. What colors did I use? Well, I'll have to look. I had a 4 skein set. So picture perfect. Okay, we'll start here. You have to read my notes. I know it's awkward for everybody. So After All Is My Blue. Picture Perfect is our light pinky blue, pinky purple. Easily Amused is our mid-tone. And then the dark is Lilacs. So that's my colors there. This was another fun one. I don't think I kept up with this mystery knit. Recently this year I really haven't been keeping up with the mystery knits as they come along, just because I got other things to do and I want to do them, but this year I have definitely knit far less than I have in years past, and that's completely okay. But anyway, back to this is Sharon on the Trail by Casapinka. It was a mystery knit along. There is one more knit that I completed, but I gave it away. Karen is the leader of our wonderful knit group. We meet once a month. Go over to Karen's house. We have a little lunch. We knit. Have a good time. It's really, I enjoy it. I look forward to it every month. She had purchased several skeins of Yowza from Miss Babs in moss, harvest gold, and a pumpkin-y roasted pumpkin. So an earthy green, a harvesty gold. Well, it is called harvest gold, so you know, a nice gold, and then a warm roasted pumpkin. So she had a lot left over, and I said, hey, give me your leftovers, and I will knit them all together in a cowl for you. And I knit the No Harm, No Cowl by Casapinka using the leftover Yowza in DK from Miss Babs. Put them all together, knit it up, and you know, was able to finish it in between the end of, in a month. So from the time that she gave me the yarn and then the next time we met, I was able to just knit it up, and it all worked wonderful, and she was super excited to wear it, and she just loves it, and so that makes my little heart happy that I've knit something that she absolutely loves. There might be a picture of it on my Ravelry. I certainly didn't think to take a lot of pictures of it, as I'm not very good at documenting what I'm doing and the whole process and all that. So let's talk about my whips. There aren't very many of them, just 3. The first one is the Secret Forest Mystery Knit Along by Lisa K. Ross, and I have been keeping it in this cute little baggy purse that my mom made out of pansy fabric that of course I bought and had hanging around. And so my mom loves to make bags, but she doesn't have enough people to make bags for. And I don't really think she'd make and sell. She does do a little bag making for our knit group and for her quilting bee group that she also attends. Anyway, this is a mystery and a couple of parts. And you're going to look at this first part and go, holy cow, that's bright. And you would be right. It doesn't look like my normal colors. That green is something else. It's really something else. I don't know what to think of it. It does work with the colors, but I think when I was looking online, I was hoping for something a little more subtle, just a little bit. But it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. This is the first piece, and I have it held on. It's on an extra cable and with little stoppers so it doesn't fall off. And it is another festival of all sorts of different stitches. Here's some fun lace here and a different type of lace. And is this cables? Yeah, this is some simple cables here. This is lace. It's pulling up and so it looks really funny. A little bit of broken rib, and then dewdrops is what she called this little yarn over lace. So that's the first part. Let's see if I can get the second part out. Let's see, there are 6 clues, and I am working in the middle of the 4th clue. So when I get this one done, it will be the end of the 4th clue. And so on this one, we've started out with some of the fun laces, but now we're using the contrast colors with just a little bit of that crazy green. So I've got the first 2 sort of lace designs done there in this bright red, and then I remember this one is called Lotus. And then my pink, what is my pink? My pink is Cat's Meow. It's a very, very neon pink. And so that'll go along. And you knit the 2 pieces, and then at the end you join them together, and that is how it becomes your shawl. So working on this, I worked on it a little bit this past week. I'm thinking about probably this will be the next one that I really get back into as soon as I finished, well, one of these others that I have on the needles, one of my other whips. So that, Lisa K. Ross, Secret Forest. It is also done in Miss Bab's Yummy 2-ply, 100% superwash wool. And I don't remember if I'm using the needles called for or not. I've been very bad about telling y'all what needles I used for my projects. I have a set of Hiya Sharps. I love them. I use them for pretty much everything. So that is that whip. My next whip is the Anthology Throw. And this is a pattern by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. She released it several years ago. Tuck this back in here. I am using a MCN base, so 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. That's the MCN, 80-10-10. This is yarn by Love and Speckles. They are out of Australia. You can find their goods on Etsy, and I have ordered several things from her, and everything has always just been really, really quite good. This set of yarn is, one year she did a, an advent, a festive kit of all purples, which of course I loved and bought and have a project out of. This one is called the Edited Purple Explosion, and it is 6 skeins, 6 full-size skeins, just of a couple of colors from the whole thing. So my needles are really small, so I can get around it easy. So this just, it doesn't really lay out, so you can see it very well. When I'm done with it, it will lay flat. But right now it just kind of looks like a giant hat. And so it's down here, holding on to the needle so I don't lose. That's the center. And then we just kind of come out, and we've changed to the second color. And changed to the third color. And pretty soon I'm getting close to the point where I will add in the 4th color. I have, this project is just littered with stitch markers. I don't know if you can see them, if the camera's picking them up very well, but I put those every the math worked out so that it was every 18 stitches apart, so I can just count between my markers, make sure that it's always 18, especially after some of the lace rows. If it's 18, then I've got the right number on my needles, so I don't have to go around and count the whole 576. And also I've placed like fancy ones that tell me when I've got a quarter of the way around, and then there's a different one for when I've got half of the way around, and then I've got some that are similar to this, all that group, that are an eighth. So I hit an eighth, and then a different one for a quarter, and then an eighth, and then a different one for a half. Anyway, around like that, because I am an accountant and I like to keep track of things, so that's really how I keep track of things. And then I have a couple pansy markers here. This is my beginning of round, and I'm showing you the back of the thing because I turned it back inside out, how I like to knit on it. So this has become my church stitch because it's 576 stitches, all knits, just around and around and around. And if I come to a lace row, I do it at home, so I don't have to think or worry about it at church. So this has been my wonderful, one of these days it's going to get done, and it's going to be so soft, and then I'm going to put it on my bed, and then the cat's going to barf on it, and I'm going to be mad at the cat, just because, you know, cats and barfing. If she would barf on the tile, we would get along a lot better. But no, she has to barf on the carpet and barf on my clothes and barf on the furniture and barf. Cats, man. Does anybody want a cat? I don't need a cat. Anyway, it travels around in this beautiful bag that I got on the secondhand market. It's Kate Spade, which is why I bought it on the secondhand market, because no way in heck was I paying $400 for this. It's retail, brand new. No. Small, amusing story about this bag is I was at Stitch West with my best friend, hanging out at the same table with Amy J and Sarah, our Stitching Kingdom, and Redneck Bifocal Stitcher. Oh my goodness, what is her first name? It's gone. And Sarah's mom, and another of Sarah's best friends, Andrea? Something. Starts with an A. I'm terrible with names. I'm really terrible with names, and I don't mean to be. It's a struggle. Anyway, so another lady walked by with a bag that was quite similar. It was navy with the pansies. And introvert me said, just to the table in general, huh, I wonder where that bag came from. I wonder what that is. And one of the extroverts at the table jumped up, ran over, talked to that stitcher, asked her what it was, and that's when we found out it was a Kate Spade. So then I went searching on the aftermarket, found it, bought it, love it. It's a super fancy tote bag masquerading as a project bag. So at least it's appropriate to take to church a little bit, sort of. The last project that I am actively working on is the Adventurer shawl and wrap. I'm doing it in extra large wrap form by Amba O'Brien. And I am using a festive kit from 2021. It is the 2021 Mermaid Kit from Sunshine Yarns in her classic sock base, which is 100% superwash wool. And this is color 23. This is color 23 of 25. So I am almost done with this one. Let's make sure I show you the right side. This guy, oops, nope. Oh, I got yarn all over the place. Yarn ball down, yarn ball down. Okay. So, we'll untangle all this. It is all tangled as I knit it around. My ends are partially woven in. I'll finish weaving them in right before I block, and then after I block, I like to trim up the ends. So I started down here at this end with the dark green, and then this just sort of fades and melds into the next color, from the greens to the blues and up here to the beautiful beachy shores, and up and along, and then we finally get into our purples, pinks and purples. So I am, like I say, I'm really close to being finished with this. I'm hoping to have it finished by the end of the week. Well, maybe not. 2 weeks. It'll be done soon. I have plans. Anyway, so this will be done soon. I'm enjoying it. This is the second time that I've knit this pattern. I wanted to use up as much yarn as I could from each of the 20-gram mini skeins. And so I cast on an additional 3 of the lace repeats. And each lace repeat was 18, no, it's 20. So I cast on an additional 60 stitches for that, and I don't think you could really cast on any more. You'd run out of yarn. But what I'm also thinking is that 3 repeats was probably too many. I wanted at least 1 repeat, maybe 2. My initial goal was to cast on 2 extra repeats, but when I was doing the long tail cast on, I saw that I had enough tail to do an additional repeat, so I just went for it. I have between 2.5 to 1.5 grams left of each mini skein, so I really don't think you could get an additional 4 lace repeats cast on for this. But it is beautiful. It's wonderful. I'm almost done with it. I think that's the best part, is I'm almost done with it. Takes a long time. I would work on this today, but apparently instead I'm going to edit video. Woo! So you can talk to me. So that is the last of my works in progress. I mentioned that my mom likes to make bags. So for Christmas she made me this wonderful giant knitting bag out of some pansy fabric that I had. We used a variety of fat quarters to do the inside and the outside, and the pockets are all lined with something different. The edge bits are different on each edge, and it was just a lot of fun. She made a couple of here they are, little notions pouches with fabric also from the fat quarter pack, and then I had some fabric that had little kittens with balls of yarn, and so she made me an additional couple of notion bags for Christmas. Love those. Love my mama. She does amazing work. She also knits all of my sweaters. I was running around like crazy trying to get everything all put together so I could record. So that's why I'm not wearing a sweater, is because I got hot. It was hot, 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 hot. Other things that I'm working on with knitting. I have been working on organizing all of my scraps. There's a gal in one of the forums on Ravelry, and she just has a mind like no other when it comes to organization. And so she takes all of her scraps and rewinds it into, skein form instead of just leaving it in balls. And then she labels everything, and so these are my labels. It tells me the name of the dyer, the yarn type, and then the name of the yarn. And then on the other side, I wrote down how many grams were left of that. And so then I have them split up into a couple different piles, divisions. So anything that's like half a skein, so 50 grams or more, and then like the 49 to 40, the 39 to 30, and so on down the line, so that it's easier to find. Well, if I need a chunk, I can go look in the big things, and then if I need just a little, here are some down in the 5 gram skeins or less pile, and here are all my skeins from the advent that I'm working on. And as you can see, these are pretty darn small. I don't know what you can do with 1.45 grams of yarn from a tiny thing. I've been thinking maybe a tiny scrappy blanket that you start in the middle and work your way out, similar to the anthology throw, but I don't know how far you could go with teeny tiny bits of yarn before you're not even making it the whole way around with your yarn. So there's one project that I'm working on. Another yarn project that I'm working on is making sure that everything I have is in Ravelry and taking pictures of it. And so I've got, well, I've got this monstrosity of a bag that's full of yarn that has been entered into Ravelry, but now I need to take its picture. So I've got all sorts of minis, some spin cycle, some gorgeous gradient sets from Sunshine Yarns. You guys should follow her. She does beautiful, beautiful work. All of that I need to put together, get pictures of, and make sure that it is in my Ravelry library so I know what is going on. And my very last project that I'm working on for, as far as knitting goes, is I've decided that I probably need to do a year where we have less come in and more go out. And so I built my spreadsheet and logged a couple of things, you know, put my works in progress on there, but I haven't counted that yarn out because the project is not finished yet. And then some of the dyers started to offer redyes of the festive kits. A couple that I wanted to pick up but didn't. And then just a couple, you know, a little bit of this and a little bit of that and of the other thing. And if I'm still on the wagon recording for these, I'll show y'all the things that I purchased when it's time, when the stuff arrives. It might be quite a while for them to arrive. And it's already gone poorly. I have purchased 12,000, that's 1, 2, followed by 3 zeros, yards of yarn already this January. I made it all the way to January 13th and then we just broke and it was all over with, and so it goes. One of my favorite festive kits was offered on a redye. This was a kit from a couple of years ago, so I purchased that. I got a redye of another kit that I missed this past year. And then there was a something else, I forget. It's not coming to mind. I bought something else. If I'm recording, I'll show you when it gets here. We'll have a good time laughing at my ridiculousness. So that's pretty much everything I've got for knitting. I have a couple of ideas of things I want to do. I have a DK kit for Valentine's Day from last year that I would like to knit up into a Amba O'Brien pattern called Wrap It Real Good. I think that would be good for it. And then I'm thinking about getting into the yarn over here, doing a couple 2-color shawls, using up some deep stash yarn just to get it, you know, moving on and out into the world. And I think I don't do plans because I always vary from them, and I'm like, oh, what's the point? I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do regardless of what I say I'm going to do. So there's that. Alright, I think I need to get everything tidied up and we should be ready to do some cross stitch. Now for the cross stitch portion of the production. I stitched, framed, and finished my conversion of Gypsy Mermaid by Mirabilia. Even though I got non-reflective glass, you can see the reflection out there of the street and stuff, so we'll put her at an angle and end up cutting me most of the way out. So you can kind of see what I got up to. I stitched her on a 32 count water lily linen. I based my conversion off of a photo that I saw in the Mirabilia Stitcher's conversion page. I asked the gal who had originally stitched it for her conversion, and she didn't ever respond or share. So I figured, well, I am a smart person. I can reverse engineer this. And so I did. What the flosses that I used are primarily DMC, some of the original Karen water lilies, and Krennic. For the net, I went down a size on the Krennic. It called for 8. I used 4. It also called for larger beads on the net, and I used the next size down. Looking at it again today, I think I would use a different color for the center of her tail. Maybe going a lighter purple and then like a lighter almost white purple there in the center of her tail instead of doing it the blue like it is. I simplified the colors for all of the flowers in her hair. Originally she had 2 different colors of flowers in her hands and in her hair. I just simplified it all back to the one. I'm going to set this on the desk. You can't see it as much, but it's heavy holding it up like that. Anyway, so did that. I usually let my framer know to call me before they put her under glass and seal her up so I can come and stitch and turn all of the beads up on edge, but I forgot to do that this time. So some of the beads are on their side and not standing up like I would prefer, but oh well, you can't win them all. What else? I'm not sure if I were to do it again, if I would go ahead and convert the seahorses into purple or if I would leave them in their original charted colors. What else am I not sure if I would do again? I forget. I can't. Yeah, it's just been a while. My conversion is posted in the Mirabilia Conversions Facebook group. So if you're looking for that, go look for it there. It's in their files. You should be able to find it. I'm not entirely sure what it's titled, but that is where she lives. And then I finished her up in August and had her framed in September, and so she was framed in enough time to take up to Stitch West this past October. So that was my first cross-stitch finish of 2023, and she was just finishing up a whip that had been languishing. Well, most of my whips are languishing when it comes to cross-stitch. I really like how she turned out. That glare is awful. There you go. The next cross-stitch project I worked on was from the Tea Time pattern by Lavender and Lace. And it is a pattern that has 3 different floral motifs, and one of them is pansies, so guess which one I stitched? I used all of the called for DMCs, and I think I stitched this guy up in about a week, maybe 2 weeks. I just would come home from work and stitch on it like it was my job, just because I was loving it so much. This is also stitched on a 32 count water lily linen. I really love water lily linen. I think it is a fantastic soft green, and it just works well for a whole host of different colors. She was small, easy to do. I've been framing my my pansies in what I call silly little gold frames, and frames that my framer says are, well, you have expensive taste, but it is what it is. So that is my second finish of the year. For both of these, I did use the UV protected low reflection art glass, but sometimes you just can't help a reflection regardless of what you do for it. So that is my Tea Time pansies. They're so cute. I love them so much. The third item that I cross-stitched and finished up in 2023 is this pansy pattern. It is from a Riolis kit number 835, and it just has the number. It didn't really have a title. It was originally to be stitched on like an 18 count white Aida, which was fine, but the thickness of the sort of wool acrylic flosses, it was so thick. It was really thick and tough to work with. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to pick out what I've done. I had pretty much most of this flower done on the original fabric, and I thought, well, I'm just going to pull it out and do, 1 thread instead of 2 as called for. Well, it was such a pain in the butt to try to even rip out that stuff that I just gave up and went and dug in my file or my stash and found the beautiful super soft blue linen. I think it's a 28. I'm not too sure. This is Touch of Blue Linen by Weichelt. And then woolly threads are from the kit. And I tell you what, it was sometimes hard to thread the needle with those woolly threads. I think she turned out really well, even though some of the blues in my pansies are the exact same color as the fabric. But overall, she looks great. I need to give her another press. She's kind of wrinkled. And then probably in February, I'll start back up at having things framed again. The last thing that I'm working on is this pansy pattern from this flyer, which is copyright in 1994. It was one of the first little pattern booklets that I picked up when I returned to stitching. In this booklet, let's see, I've already stitched this pattern, and there's another one. And I've stitched this little guy. Those are both in boxes. And yep. And so now I'm working on the pansy seed packet over here. I'm using the called for threads. They are all DMC. The booklet has your choices of Anchor, JP Coats, and DMC, back when JP Coats and Anchor were still independent companies. And let's see, I probably need a backer so that this light doesn't shine through it. That's where I am. I'm stitching this on a 32 count antique lace, antique white Laguna using the called for colors. I've started doing some of the back stitching up in the that corner because there's a whole heck of a lot of it. I wasn't sure of it, but I think it looks pretty good. So we'll finish it up, keep on keeping on. That is called for Krennic number 4 braid to be done up there. So working on this in between our knitting. Sometimes I'll come home and feel like cross stitch. Sometimes I come home and I feel like knitting. And whatever I feel like is what happens. So those are my cross stitch projects that I've been working on. Having a good time. Having a really good time. I mean, if you're not having a good time with your crafting, what are you even doing? I don't know. Let's see. Let me put some of this away. Cross stitch wise, I downloaded the Stitchery app for Notion by Stitchy Natty, and I have been working on putting in all of my stash into it. I don't think, however, Natty anticipated that people with over 1,000 cross-stitch patterns would be using it as an inventory system. So while it's excellent for flosses and fabric and beads and stuff like that, it treats every pattern as a work in progress. So instead of having a library of your patterns, it's a library of all your whips. And so all of my patterns are listed in the whips, and the whips say I have like 800 million whips when actually most of them are just patterns. So in my ideal world, I'm not a computer programmer. I can barely operate this thing just because I don't have the patience to learn how to build my own stuff. But to me, pattern plus fabric plus beads plus whatever floss, I think is what that makes a whip. And a whip is not necessarily a pattern. So that's only where I differ from her. But otherwise, it's a great app. It's a great combination of things. I'm not super into the tracking, but I really did need an inventory system that kept track of flosses and fabrics in addition to my patterns. So for that, I'm extremely happy with it, and I really do enjoy it quite a bit. Let's see, I did attend Stitch West this year and had a lovely time. We sat with Sarah, my Stitching Kingdom, and her mom Carrie. They're friends. Sarah and Amanda is the redneck stitcher. Oh, redneck bifocal stitcher. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist. And then Stephanie from Ivy House Crafter and Amy from Amy J's Creations was our table, and we had the best of time. We just talked and nattered and stitched, and it was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I'm sure y'all thought you had the best table. I had the best table. Let's see. Pam from Pam and Steph were there. Pam actually recognized my voice from so long ago, and that was just since I hadn't been doing these videos for such a long time. It just felt really nice to be remembered. She said that I was like one of the first ones she watched back in the day. Can you believe I started in 2016, and I would have a lot more if I was consistent, but consistency is not always what we do. Let's see. And then there was another gal who was at Stitch West, and she's working on the Oh Holy Night Nativity from Stony Creek. And she'd found my videos and was looking at my progress on those when I was working on those back in 2018. And she found me and asked if I am who I am. And I said, yes, I am. So that was really kind of nice to be recognized in a corner where I'm not super active anymore. Let's see, there was the eclipse. That was pretty fun. We were not close enough to where the eclipse would be full annular. It was where the moon was smaller than the sun, so you got a little tiny ring of the sun at full eclipse, but we were up a little north, so it did not do a full ring. The moon just clipped to one side. Anyway, it was cool. It was overcast. Didn't get to see everything. Let's see. Lisa, my best friend, stitched for the giveaway. I stitched my thing and then she finished it, and she did a couple of adorable dolls, and I just packed mine away the other day when I packed away the Christmas stuff. And so our table was one of the very last called for to come choose your small gift exchange, and my package was still on the table, and I knew what was inside of it, and so I picked my package up again. If I had been one of the first tables called, I would have felt bad about it, but since we were like the next to the last table called, I picked my thing up again and took it home, and I am very, very, very happy with it. So that's kind of the cross-stitch stuff. When it comes to, sometimes I talk to you about a little bit of news about gaming. I'm not really playing World of Warcraft anymore. I got tired. It was hard to keep up. It was a grind that I didn't really care for, so I kind of gave up. I'd still hang out with the same group of guys in my WoW guild. They're still hilarious, and so I hang out there. I don't play anymore. What I have been playing instead is Palia, P-A-L-I-A, which is kind of a Animal Crossing where you decorate and farm, meet the neighborhood, and craft stuff. But it's also a little bit MMO-y in that there are other people on the server with you. So you have instanced housing where you can decorate your own housing plot, and then when you go out into the towns to like gather wood and mining stuff and whatever, there's 25, 30 other people on your server, and they all use dynamic servers. So every time you change from one area to another, you might get a different set of people. It's kind of interesting. It is in beta right now, so there are some bugs and there's not a ton of content, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. It's very low-key, very casual, very, very nice. They throw around it's a cozy MMO. There's no real combat, no monsters to fight. You do hunt some deer because sometimes you need some deer hide to make leather so you can make your furniture. You know how it goes. But anyway, so that's that as far as gaming goes. Last year I spent a whole year being addicted to Lego and spent a lot of money on Lego and put together hardly any of the Lego because I have nowhere to display Lego. There is Lego boxes galore in the closet of chaos over here, just packed and stacked and organized, and I would love to get it out and build with it a lot more, but there's just nowhere for me to put it up to display. I have a couple of bins up here on the top of my shelves where I have the cross-stitch stuff, where I've put some town sorts of things together. And so my nieces, sometimes when they come over, will get out all the town stuff and put it all over the dining room table, and we'll just play town and have a good time playing with our Lego. So that's I have a Lego addiction, and it's expensive, and I need to stop because now I have a yarn addiction, and it's expensive, and I need to stop because I have a cross stitch addiction, and it's expensive, and it needs to stop. All this. So that's pretty much me. Working away, same old, same old. Love my job, love being an accountant. It's low stress. I like low stress, except for year end when it's high stress, when everything has a deadline, which has been the past 2 weeks a little more high stress because it's the deadline and we're trying to get all the things done. Coming up in February, I'm flying off to California for a conference for our ticketing software, so that'll be interesting. I haven't flown on a plane in 11 years. I don't like flying. I'm too fat to fly. I hate asking for a seatbelt extender. I have to fly. I'm not happy about it, but I got to go to this thing, so there's be some good training that I am looking forward to picking up that will help with my reporting and stuff like that. So that's coming up in February. That's kind of what I've been doing. Don't know when I'll be back. Hopefully soon. Who knows? Mom and Dad's schedule has changed so that they are no longer out of the house every Saturday afternoon. I know I'm an adult. I know I shouldn't feel weird about recording when Mom and Dad are home. I feel weird recording when Mom and Dad are home. What you gonna do? So, that's everything. I really hope you are doing well. Hello to all of my friends, both new and old. I suppose I should do a better introduction of myself. Hi, my name is Kay. I'm 50. I'm an accountant. I cross-stitch and knit. I started out cross-stitching. I knit a whole heck of a lot now. And, well, that's all. Have a good one, you guys. Be kind to everybody. Hugs and stitches. Bye.